I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Drain the swamp.
Hello and welcome to another installment of Liberty Nation's Swamponomics videocast. I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor. This week, America is back, but inflation is not. That was the message from the White House after the latest inflation data. So, a little bit of housekeeping from the Consumer Price Index report. The headline annual inflation rate slowed sharply to 2.4% from the 2.8% reading in February. This was below the consensus estimate of 2.6%. On a monthly basis, the CPI actually fell 0.1%. Core inflation, which excludes the volatile energy and food categories, fell below 3% for the first time in 4 years and ticked up 0.1% from February to March. Supercore inflation, which is or is not the Fed's preferred inflation metrics these days based on monetary policymakers' moods, slipped to 2.6%. The main driver of the better-than-expected CPI report was energy. The energy index fell more than 2%, driven by a 6.3% plunge in gasoline prices. Across the board, though, it was a decent report. Even consumer egg prices rose at a slower pace of nearly 6%. Though they are likely to start sliding based on wholesale data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture that show egg costs are down to around $3 per dozen. The new vehicle sub-index rose 0.1%, used cars and trucks fell 0.7%, transportation services declined 1.4%, and medical care commodities tumbled 1.1%. Even shelter, which has accounted for much of the inflation gains in recent months, edged up just 0.2%. So, while early estimates suggest the annual inflation rate could tick back up to 2.5%, a lot can happen over the next few weeks, as we have seen in oil markets and treasury yields. For a long time, economists and market watchers have warned that President Donald Trump's tariffs could rekindle the inflation flame. Indeed, the estimates have varied from a negligible impact to a significant contributor. Fed Chair Jerome Powell noted that tariffs could lead to a one-time price adjustment, but there is a risk they could lead to persistent inflation. However, this was before the president granted a 90-day tariff pause, which might not be fully implemented come July if the administration can establish better trade agreements. That said, inflation is, for the most part, finally heading in a positive direction, following the upward trend since the Fed launched its easing cycle in September. The difficulty, it seems, is determining whether elevated inflation trends or new developments are driven by higher import duties or underlying price pressures. The tariff tumult will be challenging to navigate in the coming months. In other words, if inflation rises, is this caused by tariffs? If inflation falls, is this because tariffs are having little impact on the broader economy? Whatever the case, after weeks of tariff turbulence in the financial markets, it is safe to say that America will take the good news. And the mainstream media, of course, will spin the CPI data into something negative. Just wait for it. Deflation will cause a Trump session. That's it for me this week. Please read my full Swamponomics column on the pages of LibertyNation.com, and be sure to check out my previous Swamponomics TV videos and interviews. Liberty Nation does not endorse candidates or campaigns or legislation, and this presentation is no endorsement. Thank you.
I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Drain the